we can just use illustrate the classification flow. For example, if you're going to study for an exam, you can just classify the studying phase in a flowchart. First, I read a book, then I do the summary, then I just do a diagram, maybe that is easier to comprehend the information, and then we can have just that type of information classified in a flowchart. Also, we can have expanded classifications, which mean that once we have a category, we can just divide it in subcategories. This this has multiple benefits as a greater accuracy, a better organization, enhanced analysis, right? Because if we have sub subclassifications or expanded classifications, is a way to make the information into smaller and smaller groups and way more easier to understand. It's just smaller pieces of information that can make us just see the information in a better way. We also, for expressing classifications, we have some vocabulary that we can just use in this type of scenarios. We can talk about categories, subcategories, criterias, attributes, hierarchy, taxonomy, class, group, or just order. These are these are good words that we have to keep in mind when we are talking about classifications. So let's start with an exercise so we can comprehend a little bit more about the classification. So the objective here is to classify animals into categories, right? You have this list of animals: lion, eagle, whale, snake, elephant, trout, kangaroo, panda, dolphin, and owl. So we should classify these animals between habitat, if they are terrestrial, aquatic, or aerial, and diet, if they are carnivores, herbivores, or omnivores. So, yeah, let's start. I don't know who wants to go first. The lion, in which classification will you put it? In which habitat and which diet? Not all at the same time. Somebody wants to, or do I pick somebody? Marcel, perfect. Terrestrial and carnivore. Right. That is great. Eagle, which will be the eagle?
Aerial, and the diet is carnivore.
Perfect. And the whale?
Aquatic, and I think omnivore.
Yes. A snake?
Terrestrial and herbivore, carnivore.
The elephant?
Terrestrial,
It is terrestrial too, and it is. I don't know if it's omnivore or herbivore. I think the first one.
Okay, the following. So let's make a table
Which
here,
one?
maybe to the trout.
I think it's a fish. It is a fish. Aquatic and herbivore. herbivore.
Perfect. The kangaroo.
Terrestrial and herbivore.
Great. So let's see here how we can do a table to classify both. So we can see it in a more visual way. Mm-mm-mm. So here we can just say try to classify the animals just using this tool that is a table. We can also use a diagram, but I think a table is easier in on the computer. So we have here that the animals can be the terrestrial, aquatic, omnivore. And in here, so terrestrial, aquatic. Let's see here. And here we can say carnivore eh, and omnivore. So we can the lion will be carnivore, right? And terrestrial. So we can put it in this classification. We can the eagle, aerial, and omnivore, right? Eagle. The whale would be aquatic and omnivore. The snake would be terrestrial and omnivore. The elephant will be terrestrial and herbivore. The trout will be aquatic. I don't really know about the habits of the trout. Maybe she eats other fish, so let's put it better on omnivore. Aquatic along the whale trout.
I think that it also eats like small fish.
Right? So I think this is the best place to place it, like omnivore and aquatic. We can say that the kangaroo, somebody knows what does the kangaroo eat? The kangaroo, I think, I don't know what do they, let's check. Kangaroo, um, So they are herbivores, the kangaroos. With the panda also. So we can put it in here. Oh, sorry. The dolphin, what should it be? Elio, what do you think?
Teacher, the snake is carnivore, it's not omnivore.
Okay, let's put it here. And what about the dolphin?
Uh, Aquatic,
And
carnivore.
the owl?
Ariel, and I think he's carnival too.
Okay, perfect. Now, a list of animals that was just a list. We just made it into a table, and now we have with this table some information about the characteristics of these animals and the which are have some things in common. Like we now know that the elephant, kangaroo, and panda can be are both terrestrial and herbivores. So this is a way to group the information about the animals and just have the information about them in a more visual way, and it's also a time saver. So just imagine that you have to say for each one: elephant, herbivore, and terrestrial; kangaroo, herbivore, and terrestrial. It's just more space, more work, and more information to the brain to try to comprehend. In this way, we just classify all the animals, and now with an easy table we have information about each one of them. So this is just the way classification works. Try to set some criteria so we can group the information and just be able to understand it the on a easier way. So this is just the classification part, and with what we saw last class, I think that is just enough information about the classification, and we can see some exercise about how to classify information. Now we are going to go with cause and effect. That is also a way of putting the information together and try to comprehend the word. Basically, a cause and effect relationship is used to describe a situation where one event or action known as the cause leads to another event or action, the effect. So a cause and effect relationship just show us a relationship in between two factors, two situations, and where one makes the other happen. So what we why do we use cause and effect relationships? Because this helps us explain why things happens and allow us for better decision making and problem solving. If we know that something is a cause of some other thing, for us it's easier to make decisions regarding that. Obviously, if you have to pass a test, you need to study. It's just a cause and effect situation. If you don't study, the effect will be that you're not going to pass the exam. So this is just an important thing when we are talking about how to interpret the world and the information around us. So, examples about cause and effects relationships will be a heavy rain can cause flooding. If we see that is raining really, really hard, the probably effect will be that some places will flood. If we are, that is important. For example, if we are working in the fire department, or if we are mayors of the city or something like that, if we identify the heavy rain of a cause, it will be easier for us to know what is the probable effect and how to make things easier if this happens. Also, another cause and effect relationship could be deforestation, leading to the loss of the biodiversity. If we just start cutting trees, we will probably just make it harder for animals to live because they are not going to have all what they need to survive, and that will lead to loss of biodiversity, which means less animals and less plants also. So this is just a cause and effect relationship that will happen. Obviously, smoking leading to lung cancer, I think this is really important to all of us. If you start smoke, you probably are going to get lung cancer. So this is something that we have to keep in mind when taking this type of decisions. So, how we identify cause and effect relationships in a text? Which are the words that can just make us realize that we are talking about the relationship between the two situations that are related to each other, because the first one uh, causes the other one. I mean, the first one makes the other one happen. So in English, we use these types of words just to know this type of relationship. For example, we use as a result, because, sorry, due to, consequently, thus, therefore. Also, we can use it to analyze. Sorry, I have a call. Let me answer it a little bit and we'll get back.
Okay.
Okay, so also we can identify cause and effect relationships, analyzing context and the relationship between the events and actions. Just this is identify cause and effect relationships is something that we use usually critical thinking. So we try to think in a rational way. We try to use our judgment, take account in the facts, thinking, analyze, and just figure out which things are related to each other in this type of relationship. So, and now we're going to make another exercise just to identify this type of situations. If we have this sentence, a student stayed up late studying for an exam and felt exhausted the next day. What will be the cause?
He could fall asleep in the exam, or he can just forget everything he just learned 3 hours ago.
Of course, that will be the effect of this situation. And what will be the cause of this? Why, if we will feel exhausted the next day?
Oh, because he didn't sleep.
Exactly, because instead of late studying. So here we have a direct cause and a consequence or a effect. The student stayed up late studying for a test, and the other day he felt exhausted. This in this other example, a new law was enacted to increase the minimum wage, and some small businesses had to reduce their workforce. So, what is the effect in here? I will repeat that because I don't know if you can read it. Because if you are seeing it for your phones, I don't know if the letter is big enough. So the sentences says this: a new law has was enacted to increase the minimum wage, and some small businesses had to reduce their workforce. What will be in here? The cause and effect relationship.
It is like something about bills or es como impuestos, algo así seguro.
No, it's about wage. Wage is what you earn when you work, what you get paid each month.
Oh,
So in here, there was a new law, a new norm, a new something that the government probably did that increased. I mean, make the wage or the salary or what people got paid. The minimum made it higher. So this means that companies has to make pay more to their employees, and this caused that some small businesses had to reduce their workforce, which means they had to fire people. Exactly, Marcel. The law causes that a lot of workers lost their job. Right. So in here, the changes of the legislation of the law caused that people just lost their work. In this other example, we can say after a heavy snowstorm, several flights were delayed or cancelled. In here, what will be the cost? Because in here will be the heavy snowstorm. A snowstorm, I don't know, it's just snow.
Because it
Um,
will be the snowstorm.
exactly. And what will be the consequence, Fabricio?
The consequence will be the um,
everyone could die.
legend, lo, several flights with the legend.
Exactly. Some people just lost their flights. They couldn't travel because this snowstorms was too heavy, and the pilot couldn't see the or just fly in that scenario. So this in here, we see that we are not using the vocabulary of cause and effect. We are just seeing two scenarios and identifying with critical thinking what will be the cause and what will be the effect. So when we are trying to treat cause and effect relationships while writing, we must use a try to clearly establish the connection between the cause and effect. In here was easier to point out in the previous text because it was a really short one, so we can identify it. But in some larger text, it's difficult to establish the cause and effect relationships, and also because not all things that happen at the same time means that they are cause and effect. There is a saying that correlation doesn't mean a cause and effect. So this is something that we have to keep in mind. If we are going to use try to identify cause and effect relationships or try to establish them in a text, we should use the appropriate transition words or phrases. For example, we should use as a result, consequently, due to, that are just a text that makes us realize the relationship between two facts or situations. Also, when we are trying to talk about cause and effect relationships, we use provide
Can you?
evidence. Yes. So we should provide evidence to support the cause and effect relationship, because not all things that happen at the same time means that something cause another thing. You are, for example, you can be eating, and then your friend fall into the ground. That doesn't mean that every time you eat, your friend is going to fall. So that is just two things that happen at the same time, but they are not a relationship of cause and effect. So, for finishing this class, I'm going to send you a, just a practice exercise, and I'm going to give you around 20 minutes to do this, so you can say it to here in class and send me the text. So let's practice writing a cause and effect paragraph. Just choose a topic for you, the one that you prefer, and identify the cause and effects related to the topic. Just write a clear and concise paragraph using the appropriate transition words and providing evidence for the cause and effect relationship. Just to make it easier for you, here are the words that you can use. I think we're here. There are so keynotes that you can use here: as a result, because, due to, consequently, thus, and therefore. So you have, yes, around 20 minutes to create this paragraph, and then just share it with the class. So I will going to give you 20 minutes. If you want, I don't know if you how the internet of you is working, but we can wait the 20 minutes. I'll get back to the call. I'm just going to stay here and wait for you to came back. So choose a topic. Yes, of course. Let me put it also in the chat so you can have the instructions. Maybe it's easier. You have 20 minutes for doing this. Write a cause and effect paragraph on a topic of your choice. Choose a topic, the impact of social media on mental health, for example. Identify the cause and effect related to the topic, and write a clear and concise paragraph using the appropriate transition words and providing evidence for the cause and effect relationship. So these are the keywords that you can use. And let's wait maybe 20 minutes, or I don't know if you prefer to do it for the next class. And we start with that, and just send me the text by WhatsApp once you finish. I think that is would be a better option. Just do this exercise, send it through WhatsApp, and I will be just giving you feedback throughout the day, right?
Okay, but how long this it is a paragraph in this following in the subject? It's like a
Um,
sentence, or you need to write like 3 lines or five. I don't know.
Whatever you need, more than a sentence, because you have to provide some evidence, but a paragraph, maybe 5 or 6 lines, will be great.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, so I will be waiting for your text on WhatsApp, and I will give you the the feedback about how you wrote it. Try to write it yourself. uh, you can try to not use translations, or you can check, of course, but try to do it uh, by yourself so you can understand the language, and try to use the words and form the cause and effect relationship. So I will be waiting for that on the WhatsApp. Thank you for your time, and I will provide you with other examples about cause and effect relationships in a longer text so you can identify it also. So thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you, teacher.